to their best map, and if Bloom win on Haven, well, that changes everything. TSM are going to be defending first. Subroza playing on the Phoenix. I said Drone because Drone is so used to playing it. Wardell's on the Jet, starts off with a 2k, and TSM already starting off pretty hot, but this is a long way to go before we see who wins out this one.
And they're all playing so aggressive as well. I think they're just trying to create some disjointed pushes.
Latest agent, but still a few more things to be fixed on. Speaking of which, aggressive push coming out of Bloom, who are pushing all the way to A. Look at Cutler, he has to scuttle out of there.
Well, yeah, they've gone for the force buy in this one, invested into this round, and roca's just come up with 2 Sheriff shots to open up this round. This will be a huge round to win after what was such a dominating pistol taken. Spike will be planted by Leak. Thinking of putting the slows out to try and stop them coming in from behind, but it seems like the defense are a little bit more hesitant, maybe looking to try and group up together. They do sit around the sewers. They've also got the drone of Kaplan just being able to spot both angles, and he now sees the push, and it's a double! What? Roca actually gets 2, I think.
A few ultimates too. Hunter's Fury is going to be big, and Wardell gets that first blood. It's so important for him. He tries to get more, but the Rain and Lear is going to put a lot of pressure in. He can't do much more, but the Sheriffs are getting some work in, and now we have a nice fresh 2 versus 2.
This is possible! Subroza as well with the quick tap. We'll leave it into a 2-on-1. And now sSef, back of the site, still has a slight weaponry advantage, but there's plenty of guns to be found, and in fact, we are actually going to see the ultimate popped as well by Subroza, so he can take this fight for free. And
yet again, give it up, and the Hunter's Fury is going to follow up to the point that he's now doing hardcore to try and avoid it, but he can't. Kaplan gets the pick, and the site is opening up.
Yeah, again, these entry frags are on point, and the Hunter's Fury used perfectly to get that opening pick. And the problem is, thus far, we haven't really seen many retakes in terms of this A-site defense. The sky smokes can also fall, and we also have a Brimstone ultimate of the Orbital Strike, which just makes defusing almost impossible unless they can get the kills very quickly indeed. There's a lot of information being found at least. And then Drone even going to put in a couple of others, but Roca dropping one more leaves things nigh on impossible, not even being able to connect on that remaining player who's currently tagged. They'll just have to fall out and hold on, although Drone still goes back in for a little bit more. Maybe a bit of miscommunication, as it seemed like FaZe has already made the decision to save the op.
I think it was an important decision to make. Rest of Bloom get out like. Interested to see how they play. The anchored Cypher's kit is on A as well as the Sober. So Kaplan's getting a lot of intel, but he's put under a lot of pressure. That Recon bot's going to give him up. So Subroza is able to get first blood. Sight is pretty much in control. Let's see how Bloom do on these retakes. TSM did struggle a little bit, most especially on this site. So let's see how this team does here.
The A side looks bleak for retakes from what we've seen so far today, especially with a man disadvantage. I'm not really sure how they're going to get back in. Of course, they do have potential Lears available, but in fact, it looks like they're just going to try and dry peek this one out, and facing off, somehow they've won the majority of the duels. It's back into a 2 versus 2. Still, though, the HP advantage is low.
Could easily be top 10 teams, but they're very much fringe. Roca's doing a similar play, gets caught out yet again. Luckily, Leak has to bail him out with the trade. And the Orbital Strike's going to try and catch out even more. So this is going to be explosive from TSM trying to push onto the site, but that slow orb is going to slow them right down.
Put down.
That's such good timing from Cutler, though. He's found a pick elsewhere, and this leaves Kaplan in a fair bit of trouble. Another ultimate being expended, and sSef has actually found a flank, and finally, we are going to see the Cypher ultimate popped, giving that information over to the other side. He's going to try and wrap back around. Now, this is looking like a hunt for the trade. The timing not going to work out. sSef's come up with 3. A huge round from him. Wardell now has to try and finish this, and he's only got 10 HP. He's got 3 players to find, and they've even put down an extra tripwire just to make sure he can't trade that frag. He's going to go just towards that A site. I believe he's about to bump into another one, so the second he gets in this direction, maybe even more information available.
He has to pull something out the bag. We know he can. You don't need me to tell you how good Wardell can be in some of these plays, but this is still a big ask. Surrounded pretty much on all sides. Has all of his utility, but only 10 health. Let's see what he can do. I just want to watch this play out personally. Nice little jiggle peek to try and catch him out, and gives away his positioning by firing, but doesn't catch the rotation to the other side, but is still able to get there. He's going to dash out, pick up Phantom, but it only required one hit from insky. It's a nice breakthrough, but really not enough help to keep him up against a 1 versus 3.
On towards the C site. Well, that's in fact where TSM are going to be going right now, and it's falling back into that same sort of retake. Now, retaking has not been the strong suit for either of these teams. There's been a lot of good holds in these after-plant positions, and I do wonder if we're about to witness another one, because there's not many rounds where you see a 5-on-5 retake, I'll be honest.
And the ultimates that both teams have available, there's not many, but the pivotal. Neural Theft on this defense for the retake is going to be insane if they can get fresh cops to use it on. Find out exactly where these players on TSM are holding from. But the Hunter's Fury is going to be used to sort of, buy a bit of time. But sSef goes down. That ultimate's not going to be able to be used. Subroza get a second, and it's still a bit of a crossfire on this site. The Hunter's Fury is going to be pulled out.
So just deny them any presence on, and while Cutler's flank from behind did enough. This is obviously out of the realms of possibility now with the time ticking. And Wardell about to come under pressure once again. The A site in the early rounds was something that they didn't really defend too well. The angle not checked by Subroza though, and that's all too easy for sSef. Walks around the corner, and this is looking like, dare I say it, a map going to Bloom. This is a 2 versus 5 to keep them in the map, take us to overtime. I didn't even expect I'd be saying the word overtime today, because most of these matches look like there's a clear favorite, and while the clear favorite today was meant to be TSM, hazed, pushing his way through the Molotov. It's done, Ryan, isn't it? It's done out here.
Not over till the fat lady sings. With the fat lady, cute fat boy's playing another game. Yeah, fat cute boy's playing another game. We're sticking with his best of 3, regardless of how he goes, because this has been crazy. sSef gets the 4th kill, but we'll have to wait and see. Could bite him in the ass, certainly.
I like the idea, just go all-out attack. Don't lose enough rounds that it matters. However, it's not going great in the pistol once again. As we do see them... Actually, in fact, they got off to a very good start, I should say. Never mind, it was them losing the force-ups. This time, though, it's looking a little bit better for the side of Bloom. sSef already getting such a quick push back around. Doesn't hit the shots, though, onto Cutler. And in fact, Cutler gets a kill onto Kaplan. Maybe there's still a chance that they can survive at the back of this site, but they're actually just going to kill him straight through the wall. hazed comes up with 2, though, and that could be huge. Unfortunately, his heal is gone. Has to hit the headshot, and he does as well. Big clutch from hazed. We am in the lead in this round. Looking to set up, but they're actually not prepared for leak. And that shot is sick. Both of them hit through the wall, and now only 2 remaining. Cutler, he has to be a little bit wary. Paranoia will at least give them a path onto the side. But this is the aggression we talk about from roca, just pushing in, taking a risk. It may not pay off, though, as now both Cutler and Drone have found frags back in return. Leave him in a 3 versus 2. Oh, no. Drone makes it just 2. And this is starting to fall apart. A real chance for Bloom is starting to dwindle here. The rotation begins to come back from the remaining couple of players. I don't think they would have expected to even be in this scenario. And in fact, the remaining players have actually decided to double up, and I like this. They're going to use the dark cover to gain some control. Take a little bit of extra space, and a headshot from Drone. He just got nuclear in this round. 4 kills. He's wiped out.
Lineup for Bloom. They're pretty much set, and they have some aggressive ultimates to boot. Another Empress available for roca. insky gets a nice pick onto hazed. Changing up the position, and these operators are going to be difficult. So Rosa's going to push into this, but roca's there waiting. This misses at the right time, just to get out of there. Doesn't get traded, which is probably most important.
It keeps them in such a strong position at a 2-man advantage with Subroza gone as well. The Drone's definitely had his moment. They're starting to wallbang these players out of position. They do both escape relatively unscathed, I say that, but roca's on his last legs, just going to have to leave. But with sSef already rotating in for support, with all his utility still holding the B site for any rotations, it comes down to what is a fairly stacked mid-defense, and sSef, in fact, just makes the decision to fall back instead. However, they could still clear out these angles. Timing's going to be everything here, as there's still a man towards the ropes. I think they're spotting the corner that wonderful Cypher outfit. They know he's there, but it doesn't matter. They say knowledge is power, but it doesn't work out for free. So you can tell that TSM are more than comfortable to go for this retake. There's the first. Can he escape? He can. But they are going to be hunting him down. He gets the reload off, though. So another couple in the chamber. They haven't actually managed to get as far as I thought they would. They needed to clear him much quicker. And a second for Wardell. That should not have been allowed. Bloom needed to do a little bit better in this scenario, and because of that, the cavalry has arrived. The rest of the team are in position, and insky has everything to do a 1 versus 3.
Going up to high ground heaven, it's completely free that you could maybe catch them off. You are seeing TSM give a little bit of space because there isn't enough time to see insky go to another site. The flash is going to be a good one. The spray is awkward for the side. It's going to be difficult for Bloom to make a decision on where to go. They are going to push onto heaven, but hazed does a nice little crossfire. Cutler using the paranoia to just buy a little bit more time for the Sage, who is anchored onto the site. It's going to take an engagement against Kaplan, gets to third, has control of the spike. Now sSef has it all to do.
He's triggered.
He doesn't have much time either. Rotation does come in. Hazed is just still surviving. He's done a fantastic job. Eventually he falls. The spike's been retrieved as well by sSef. He's going to get time. He's got it. This is going down with a second or two to spare. Rotation already coming in. The flames will burn him out, though. And Drone makes sure that this doesn't get too far out of control.
No, and you should be relying on these players to do that, but now and again, these players need to clutch up. Leak is very much trying to force something there. Luckily, roca's able to sort of add on it, and it just forces a resurrect a little bit early, but Drone is still able to get some frags in, meaning that this is now for 4 versus 4 with the ultimate resurrect dedicated. Run it back doesn't catch too much, and roca's pushing all the way into where he is now. Wardell's sat in the smoke. If roca's not careful, he's going to catch him out. Both players weren't really expecting either of them to be there.
That's the ultimate not working out, and this might be the beginning of the end. It's left all onto Leak, and it's Drone to close out the map. Not quite as close at the last one, but definitely still felt like it had a few swinging points, a few clutch rounds that easily could have turned this into a much closer affair.
So that's a very big... With any luck, it pays off for them.
This is so aggressive. Just running straight into mid. This is a brawl. It's almost like they've got their gloves out to fight for this one. I don't think I've ever seen a pistol round like this across most games, let alone within Valorant. But it does mean Cutler has managed to gain some space. He can close the shutters, look to try and get that spike down. They are still with a man disadvantage, as we will see the rotation coming all the way back through. One still stuck behind the shutters, and while the other's wrapping around through the rafters of B. Some relatively strong after plant positions. Insky going to be utilizing the dark cover to at least give them some space, but Subroza catching Leak actually gives them some more around the back of the site. They clear Cutler very quickly indeed, though, and going to start tapping on the defusal. They're watching for Subroza, and I think they know exactly where that last man is going to be. Good luck to Drone. He at least gets himself one, but it is a strong retake coming out from Blue.
It's going to be running into Wardell. It's been a nice 1v1 that we've been seeing throughout the series.
A heavy mid battle straight away. It's sSef with the opener, but the trades come back thick and fast to leave huge advantage. In fact, even going to pop the ultimate, which they're going to know where he is. It doesn't necessarily matter too much. And in fact, hazed with the trade is more than enough. A trade onto, well, what was a ghost of your teammate really isn't too bad at all. Kaplan, well, we can't expect anything here. The A site fully under the control of TSM. And I am quite surprised, because this is one of the polar opposites I think we're witnessing between the side of NA and EU. Is we talk about the EU defense of this map being very, very passive. Like, you see normally 2 players around in the B site, one holding almost in the spawn, and then sort of a flux player, and then one dedicated to the A site. This is completely different. This is Bloom rushing into middle to try and fight their opposition. A much more pug style of play, but at the same time, at the moment, it really isn't working. I feel like it's a tough one to try against TSM. Down to just 10 HP. sSef will eventually put him down. It's a bit of a whiff, though, from him in the end, and not much support from the remaining members of his team. Insky eventually combines with Kaplan, who gets 2 more. And while maybe there was a reason we were seeing much more heavy dedication to this A site, the B site still seems pretty strong. hazed just has a few, but not this time.
The Omen's just going to run away rather sheepishly. Forces out a few of those bullets as well. Wardell's going to try and peek to it, gets the dink onto leak. Has to reload and is going to dash out before he's punished even more, but Insky is still able to get the frag. Shot in the back. Who's to blame? Roca's going to try and push through, but Cutler's anchoring onto this site. Luckily, he's still able to get the frag, and sSef holding mid too. Can't do too much as Drone. He's going to win that engagement. A nice neat 2 versus 2, but the attackers are forced all the way back into Boathouse, and TSM are coming calling.
Revealing area.
And Boathouse is a fairly scary place to be when there's shot darts on the other side. They may not even need them, though. There's already... Oh, there's the first. Doesn't connect. The second one actually bounces back, and well, the overhealed roca has a good chance, but he doesn't hit a single shot. A great retake in the 2 versus 3 from Drone and Subroza. Will be them now take.
Insky's able to get that sheriff in. This has been happening quite a lot for both sides now. These Shikos have been super exceptional. But Drone is able to stop leaking their tracks. The spike is looking to get planted, and a lot of space has been taken by Bloom. The TSM aren't rotating around. They're not going to try and do some cheeky plays. They're just trying to stick together because they know how easily Bloom could start to pick them apart one by one.
Well, classic saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. The fast A play this time looking a lot better for the side of Bloom, but the weaponry advantage still heavily in the favor of TSM. Dark cover expended by hazed. He looks to try and push through, hoping to find some space, but it's Kaplan, a roca again to combine. Cutler has managed to double back in, but roca escapes. He's just trying to buy time. He's trying to burn down that clock as much as possible. The shot from this team, and he gets both. That is ridiculous from roca. He brings, if that is the case, if that's the plan, I don't really mind that at all. We're going to see one go back in response, but Wardell with the opener. Insky gonna fall. hazed just caught another one. This is looking like maybe the beginning of the end. There needs to be a hero if Bloom are going to continue in this series. They've had a fantastic run, taken one of the best North American teams to the distance, but if they fall at the final hurdle, it may not matter, as they are getting slaughtered in the site. roca can't even save them this time, and TSM, it's taken them a while,